The Rose and Brass Knuckles Podcast.
Welcome to episode 33 of the Rose and Brass Knuckles Podcast. I'm your boy Zachary Davis.
All right, this is Okiba Jabala, man. How you doing this week, dog?
Man, good, man. Another week above ground, as we always say, man. Just busy, man. Making moves, choosing colleges. My daughter got into another couple of colleges this week, so so our decisions keep on. You know what I mean? It's not really changing, but you know what I mean. It's just like something else hit every other week. You know what I'm saying? And add to the mix to make us think about it. I'm like, but we're a couple of weeks away from making the decision, so we should get that done here quickly. But how you been, brother?
Oh man, good, man. Just on the grind, man. Ran to ATL. What's that? Yes. What's the day? Wednesday, Thursday? Man, I was down there for a day, pick up some artwork, help the girls with their car situation. You know what I'm saying? Put some tags on the car, some tires on the car.
Oh, yeah. I know how that is.
Shit,
hey, man. I know how that is.
Back on the road the next morning, man. Gave him some breakfast.
I spent the whole day yesterday at a tire place. I just went to go get my wife's oil change, and then they were like, because you can't really see on her car. It's hard to get in there to see them back tires, and we hadn't really had them that long. They ended up replacing them because it kind of went out faster than what they said, but the tread wear or whatever.
Right.
But man, I ended up having to go sit in the tire shop. I'm like, man, boy, I've been that took me my whole day. I was going from 8 to goddamn 5. You know what I mean with that. But that's the role of a husband, man. We got to take care of that, man. Make sure these ladies riding safe. You know, a real one anyway.
Yeah. You're right, the real one.
yeah. Because you know what's so crazy? I'll never forget. A friend of mine, he'll know who I'm talking about when I tell a story. So we at his house one day, and he just talking. He's like, man, I gotta get some tires on my car. You know what I mean? I think him and his wife was working off the same vehicle at that same time. You know what I'm saying? They only had one car. And I swear I left his house, and he called me probably 2 hours later. His wife had spent around and went in the ditch because the tires was messed up. Hydroplane on the interstate on 75, 85. She was okay. I think she slid into the grass, but and so you got to take care of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Because you know what I'm saying. Things can happen in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, we know it's been an exciting week, and, we're going to jump into that a little bit later on. Right. But, we're going to jump into our episode this week. This was called Dating Someone's Baby Mama or Baby Daddy.
Dang.
How do you put up with it? And I was just telling Okiba offline before we got on here. I was like, we first started discussing what we were going to talk about this week. I kind of forgot. I was like, man, I ain't dating nobody, baby mama. I was like, man, wait a minute, boy, a long time ago, man. I've been locked down a long time, man. Happily, but you know what I'm saying. It just is what it is. You don't even think about that. Like, I mean. It's so funny, like, some stuff I can't even remember. Like, you know what I mean? I got a bad memory, so you know what I mean? Some stuff I can't even remember, insignificant stuff, but I had to dig into the coffers for, what I'm saying? Right. This episode.
Yeah, that's definitely one of them things, man, where my wife always teased me about, being out there. You know what I'm saying? Like she's just like, you don't want no parts of that. You like way too much order and way too much. You know what I'm saying? And, I'll be talking noise and everything. She'd be like, man, please. She was like, any woman who gets you out there will give you right back. Because it'd be like all of the Hey, I'd be like, man, baby, I don't want no parts of whatever happening outside. They can have that, man.
No.
Yeah, but I do remember that.
I mean, a lot of people run into this, especially as you get up in age a little bit, and things like that. Even at the younger ages, really. You have to tread lightly in a lot of situations.
Right.
From whether it's I've heard of people dating dating someone and the kid doesn't like them because now they coming in and taking away time from the kid. And the kid, a young lady that I know, she was dating a gentleman. He had a child, and the child was used to spending, that was his weekend. Mm-hmm. But that was also the father's weekend off. Right. And so that was their time to spend together as well, the girl and him. Mm-hmm. So it was taking up the kid's time, so the kid ultimately didn't like it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Didn't like it and didn't like her, and it was a small kid, so they was making it vocal. Like they, you know what I'm saying? It was a young kid, like 3, 4 or something. So they say what was on their mind. Yeah. When she leaving? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, that's real.
For real. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of them things. Like just in speaking from experience, where it was like I was in that space, before getting married, and that was like as a full-time dad, that was a prerequisite for me. I wanted to see, I need to see what kind of parents you are. Because, you know, I had already been in a situation where being married to a woman who wasn't about her children, being our children, then, like, if you get out there and you dating, you know, that's something that you want to see. You want to see it in full time. And I think it's one of those things where it's one thing if you just, you know, smashing and grabbing. But if you looking at being in a serious relationship with somebody, I think it's important to see what kind of parental skills are really happening in real time. While at the same time, you got to go into it knowing that you dating everybody. You dating her. Yeah. You dating the children. You dating the baby daddy, singular or plural, daddies. Yeah. You dating you dating probably like 5 to 6 people, including the mama and the grandmamas and all of that. So when you say she might be fine or he might be fine, but understand it's a whole package that comes along with that. So if you're trying to be serious with it, you know, or if you're just trying to get in there in the wee hours of the night and be gone before the kids wake up, that's a different conversation. But if you're trying to be there when you know, they get off the school bus and you're trying to be there when it's really happening, you got to assess everything because you ain't just dating her. You dating everybody. And I would honestly say this, man, if you ain't prepared, like from a dude's perspective, if you ain't prepared to whoop her baby daddy's head, you don't even need to get in her bed, man. Don't do it to yourself.
And I mean, that go for the ladies too, because some of them, they get it. They, you know, it's some of them, it's rough on that side than the other side. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a lot of these women, you know, they giving the baby, you know, the stepmama hell. Right. You know what I mean? Right. Raising the kid. I mean, you know, so it's definitely something to consider when you look into it. And, you know, shout out to everybody who takes that step and does it. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. Date somebody who has kids, or, you know, even if they got some of their own and things like that, and takes that step and, like, you know, because that's a pivotal role you got to play. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what kind of response you're going to get from the kids. You don't know what kind of response you're going to get from the other parent. You know what I'm saying? Is there going to be friction because the parent that you're dating feels like they have to choose the child over you all the time? You know what I'm saying? You know, things like that. It's a lot of conflict that comes with that.
Right. So what would you say are some of the things you should look at? Let's say the green flags and the red flags. So green being like, hey, go ahead and proceed because this could be a good situation. The red being, hey, hit your brakes. You might need to rethink this thing. What are some of the...
Well, the first green is if the other person ain't even in the picture, the other parent. It's usually pretty green and wide open then. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty green and wide open then. But I would say, no, really though, just looking at it and seeing how the dynamic between how the parent and the other parent co-parent, that would be the first thing I look at, because that's the number one influx of trouble. Right. How long have they been broke up? How was the breakup? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like what caused it, you know, to break off? Like, did the woman just leave the man and the man still lusting after her? The woman still want to be with the man, vice versa? Right. You know, because that's going to bring some unnecessary drama. Right. And what kind of boundaries have been set? Like, you know, for example, I've heard of people that, you know, have to be in relationships and the other parent doesn't really have boundaries. Like, you know, they got to be over there on Christmas morning as soon as the presents open, and they got to do that. Like, all this, like, it's not a separated situation. Like, I can understand if it's a really small child, you know what I mean, things like that. But we talking about kids when they, you know, 13, 14, and everybody got to be together. No, you go over there and get your gifts later on after we open them over here at the house. You know what I mean? Right. And so just if there's clear boundaries in that situation, and if the person you're dating understand, if there's not, they understand that to date you, that they're going to have to set some boundaries with the other parent. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. And I'd say, like, when you look at that red and that green flag, you look at red would, like you say, definitely look at the state of the breakup, you know, and also like the level of communications. Because if you're a man coming into any situation, I say man or woman, but I say definitely men. If you're coming into a situation, you need to be able to have a conversation with whoever the baby daddy or ex-husband is about your role in a spot where we need to be able to sit down, you know what I'm saying, separate of her, and saying, okay, we're going to sit down, we're going to have a beer, we're going to talk about the rules of engagement. You know what I'm saying? Where you look at, it's not going to be one of those things where you be calling my old lady, because I understand that she's your ex, but she's my current. So with my current, you ain't going to be calling your ex, who's my current, cursing her out, talking crazy, this, that, and the third, and I'm just supposed to sit there just because y'all splitting a baby or a baby or two. That's not what we're going to do here. Because then I'm going to have to step in and we're going to deal with it like how we got to deal with it. But the thing is even, because I've been in this situation where, you know what I'm saying, you look at the dude, he's talking crazy. And then I got to step in like, hold on, dog. You know what I'm saying? We not doing that here. But then she's sitting there popping off, and now she figures she has an attack dog, that's going to defend her. When she's doing extra things just to go ahead and get back at him from when they was together. You know what I'm saying? So she's doing things just to go ahead and get a rise out of him because she know I'm going to check him. And then I got to check her. And then at the same time, I'm having to have a conversation with him. And this particular sister didn't want me having a conversation with him because then she's worried about what he's going to say. So those are some of the red light things to look at. Because it's okay if we didn't get along and we got to break up and we going our separate direction, but we co-parenting. Yeah. But if I was doing shady stuff, she was doing shady stuff, and now we trying to recreate the story, then that's a problem because now you the new person coming into the situation and both of them lying to you. You know what I'm saying? You got both parties lying to you. You got the baby you got your old lady lying to you and the ex-husband and baby daddy lying to you. The only one who kind of know the truth is a little child that's in the middle looking at you like both of us in here between these two folks. That's...
And then, and you definitely have to watch it when you leveling up someone. Ooh. Like you dating somebody and you bringing them up.
Right.
And then that wasn't the relationship they had in the past because that breeds a lot of jealousy.
Right.
It happens with men just as much as happening at women. So women don't try to just put that all on women.
Right.
Men too, when a man come in and he got a little decent job and you guys he get a house with the baby mama and all that stuff like that and bring her up,
right.
Then the man feels some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He feels some type of way because now she living this life and you know what I'm saying? And the child is living this life and, living a better life than they probably would have lived if they would have stayed with you. A lot of times, not with me, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
With the father. And then the same thing, a lot of women see that and see a man get with a woman. She lift him up and get him to get his stuff together. And, she got a good job and well educated and they living good and, living high on the hog. And you may be the primary parent for the child.
Right.
And then you looking at it like, oh, I need to be living like that. I need to get some of that money. And you trying to raise a child support and do all this stuff because now this man, he living a good life.
Right.
And you never thought that's what was going to happen to him because when you had him, he wasn't the same man or the same, and vice versa.
Right. And that's definitely one of those things. So when you look at that the red and the green game and also looking at your intent, and looking at like, am I really looking to be a parent to this child? Because it's not going to work if you just dating and you're not taking it serious in regards to being a parent saying, hey, that's between the two of y'all. I'm just here for this one little piece of it. So you can't play that game while at the same time whoever you with shouldn't play you like you're the slot machine daddy or slot machine mama where you can only show up when they give you permission. Because that's problematic right there. Like if I can feed you, clothe you, love you, wipe your butt, I can beat your butt too.
Exactly.
So don't say I can't.
You got to be able to be a daddy all the way around or a mama all the way around. Yeah. It can't be halfway. Like, you can't be taking care of the child, paying the insurance, got them up in your house, things like that. And then the other parent, as soon as you say something or do something to the child, like, oh, he said something to me, or, he snatched me up or something.
Yeah.
Then you don't even give the new parent, the step parent, a chance to explain what happened.
Right.
You automatically, you in your feeling, oh, he put his hands on my child.
Right.
She put her hands on my child. Like, what happened? What did your child do?
Right.
You know what I mean? And, I say this all the time. My grandma used to say, where you show out, you get wore out. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't no time to be waiting and trying to call and, well, you know what they did? You need to get over here and do something. No, you got to get it right then.
Yeah. And that's only fair. Because my thing is that's only fair if you're doing all the right things to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't spank no child or beat no child if you ain't feeding that child and loving that child and taking care of that child. I wouldn't even allow for my daughter's moms gave birth to him. I made it clear, like, nah, if you having some discipline issues, I'm going to deal with that. Only because...
But you were right there. I'm saying, in a situation
while she was there, because she never did what she was supposed to do as a parent. That was the point of what I'm saying. Like, she ain't even have the rights to hit on them girls or spank them girls if they got out of line because she ain't do none of the things she was supposed to do as a parent.
I feel what you're saying. So, I thought you were saying, like, the step parent, but
No. I was talking about, like, the one who gave birth to him, like nah, and that's to me that's real. Like if you hadn't Like my wife has more authority over our daughters, than the one who gave birth to them because she's done the work. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with our son. My wife had a son coming into the door. And, you know, I told Buddy, like, I told him, I was like, look at bro, because his analogy, or he compares me to Ben Rhymes on Baby Boy.
Go ahead, cry for your mama. Yeah, go ahead, cry for your mama, yeah.
But it's one of those things where he also knows that I'll do anything for him. You know, so I don't have no problem checking him. And I made that clear on the front end, like I'm not going to do it one-sided or lopsided. You know, as much as I give, I'm going to give it on both sides. So don't think it's just one-sided and I'm going to ask permission. Well, I ain't got to ask permission to do none of the things I do for you. So I ain't going to ask permission to get you right when you acting out. You know what I'm saying? It's just not doing that.
Yeah. And you definitely have to see, as, you know, you got to see also, like you said, what are the parents, the grandparents' role in it. Because a lot of times, like you said, you marrying into that, and the grandparents, they just in the mix as much as they think the parents are. Like, I mean, grandparents, you know, we love y'all and things like that, but there's a level where you don't need to be involved.
Right.
Like, if you want, you should only be talking to your child.
Right. Right.
You shouldn't be talking across the aisle, like what they call it when they're in Congress. You shouldn't be reaching across the aisle.
Right.
You need to talk to your child and what's going on and what you hear. And you may feel something, but you don't need to be coming into that, what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? And you don't need to come in to what the step-parent got to deal with.
Right.
And trying to tell the step-parent what they got to deal with.
Yeah, because then, like we said on the front end of it, you be in a relationship, you think you're getting in a relationship or a marriage with one person, you're in a relationship or marriage with about 6 people. And that's that kind of weight, you know, like that kind of weight. You can't run a semi-truck across a bridge made out of matches. Eventually it's going to fold up on you. Yeah. You know, so when you got 6 different relationships tied up to this one relationship and everybody trying to tie your hands and tie your feet and tell you to swim, eventually you're going to get up out of there. So on both sides, I think everybody need to look at that. Whoever the guy is coming in or the girl coming in or whatever, both of y'all need to be transparent about that and understand that this person in a relationship with all y'all. And you need to be mindful of that.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to. You definitely have to. And you know, because it's going to be coming from every side. Yeah, you know, you got the dynamic with the child. You got the dynamic with the current parent. You got the dynamic with the parent that's not in the house, the baby mama, baby daddy. And, you know, it can be overwhelming at times. Like, you know, as a younger man, like we were just talking about, I remember, you know, I had to think back. I dated a woman who had just got out of a marriage and had 2 children. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the baby daddy ended up, I didn't know, I mean, it was more recent than what I thought. I think they had been broken up within the year that I met her or whatever. Right. And I think I was like the first person to date her, you know, after they broke up. And like, I mean, this dude was, man, so one time we in the house, this man had climbed over the fence, breaking in the house, trying to come in the house. What? Luckily he was a little dude, you know, I could have handled him if I would have needed to, you know what I'm saying? But you know, lucky he was smaller, but you know, this man the damn near broke in the house trying to come, you know what I'm saying? Because she didn't want to answer the door because he seen my car out there. Right. And then like, I mean, it was just crazy stuff. I was in the military. This man had called up to the base and then, you know, try to say I was dating a married woman. They were, you know, separated and, you know, finishing out the divorce. But, you know, I mean, he tried to do everything, man. I just knew I was going to have to put my hands on him. And then finally, you know, I think he ended up meeting somebody and, you know, calmed down. But, I mean, not being like that, but I, you know, mentally that messed with me. I never could really take that relationship as seriously then because I was like, oh, no, I ain't going to deal with this. I can't deal with this. And the kids was little. The kids, I think her daughters might have been like maybe like 4 and maybe like 7 or something like that. They was young. So it was like, oh, I can't, You know, and I was young. I was in my 20s. So I was like, you know what I'm saying? I got to get out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that is a whole lot because when you think about that whole thing of saying, okay, worst case scenario, are you prepared to deal with worst case scenario? Because if they broke up and everything was cool and they co-parents and they cool, this, that, and the third, but if they broke up and everything haywire and crazy, you're going to have to, like if you're going to be in that household, you're going to have to regulate. You're going to have to. So then from that standpoint, you're asking yourself like, man, all the single women out here with no children, why am I sitting here dealing with this? Or all the single men out here with no children, why am I dealing with this? So it's just in parts and pieces. Like, are you willing to be in a relationship with 5 or 6 people? That's what I think you need to ask yourself on the front end of it.
Yeah, and that's something to consider. Ladies tend to be, more the primary parent. Some men like yourself, they do the work and take the responsibility. That's something to consider. Like, ladies, like it's hard to get somebody to step up and fill those shoes a lot of times, especially if you got a lot of drama.
Yeah, man.
So you know what I'm saying? Regardless, whatever it is, if the man ain't paying the bills and ain't paying child support or doing what he's supposed to do, sometimes it's just better to kick him off than keep up a bunch of drama. I mean, just let that parent go on. I'm not even finna chase after it and deal with it, because as a man, if I come into that and he ain't doing nothing and he don't come over here and you trying to call and it's always something about they daddy and something like this, I already know what it's gonna be.
Man, from the door.
You know what I'm saying? And the same thing, women, if you meet a man and he keep having baby mama drama and things like that early in the beginning, you know what it's gonna be.
You already know. So don't think it gets. The only time I think it can get better, like you said on the front end, is if the other parent isn't in the picture. And then you could just make peace with that part of it. But you also got to be prepared for the trauma that comes along with that other parent that's not there from a child's perspective. So the parents can be like, "Oh, I'm glad that fool ain't there." But I find it hard to believe, and based off of my experience, that any child doesn't want their other biological parent to check in a correct way.
No, that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's that. You know what I'm saying? That's any parent. My biological dad wasn't really that solid, and you know what I'm saying. Like it was a time where I longed for that. Like you know what I'm saying. Like shout out to him. He just had his 80th birthday. We went up there and had dinner up there in Nashville this past weekend. I forgot about that. Shout out to him, man. It was good to see that side of the family though too. Everybody came out, but he know who he is. Like,
right.
You feel me? But it's a funny story. I always tell this story. I hate to get off track, but so we used to go up there, and my daughter, my biological father used to live with my grandmother, and he still lives in the house, but he lived with my grandmother. So we used to go up there and visit. So my daughter's probably 7, 8, 9 years old, and we had been up there probably once a year. You know what I'm saying? Up until that time, and so like one day we were just talking. And I was like, yeah, my dad, something. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, that's my daddy that, live with Granny. And he was like, if you'd have saw the look on that, that's what I'm saying, how, it didn't even feel like that vibe. Right. She was like, what? Like, it didn't even register to her, but it was just funny. But, definitely, as kids, you want the other parent to check in and, it's always trauma with that and, emotions with that. I didn't really, I had a stepfather, wonderful stepfather raised me. Shout out to him too. I never didn't even try him like that. Like, it was just something, that it's a difference in a Geechee man. Like,
That's real.
It's a little bit different down there. I don't know. It don't seem like, I think last time my daddy whooped on somebody, he was in his 40s. Like, they don't really play. Like, so it's like, you didn't really play with him like that. He don't say much, but when he say something, he mean it.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Well, he gonna hit you with the accent, but you know what I'm saying? When he say something, he meant it. So I never really tried him like that. But, I hear gentlemen who got, step kids and they like, you ain't my daddy. You ain't my daddy. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And all this, like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So
call your daddy for that meal tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, you need to call him for these lights because I'm taking the lights out the wall. I'm taking everything out. I'm taking everything.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, if it would have ever been that type situation, somebody tried me like that, I'd have showed you better. I can tell you.
You about to see what it look like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You better hope your daddy in the picture if you're dealing with me. I was gonna make it rough on you. Nah, but just look out, man. When it's definitely got to have your eyes wide open before you go into one of those kind of relationships with somebody with children and dealing with the other side.
Oh man.
So we're gonna slide off into this altar call organist. Go ahead and bring us in. So, it's been a long week. They've been banging us from every angle. Is that tea you're drinking? What is it? He had to clear his palate. But of course, the Will Smith incident. And, it's two-sided. It's two-sided.
Right.
As for me, as a husband, I can understand you feeling like necessarily you got to defend your wife. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, in that setting, I just don't think it was the right setting. These award shows are known to be almost like roast. That's, I mean, from the old ones you used to see on MTV, they may still come on. I don't keep up with them no more. But, it was always a comedian hosting most of them because they going to do a little bit of roasting, and it was just, I mean, you guys have put your whole life out there. So I think, a lot of times a lot of people feel like, you fair game. And it's not like his wife doesn't hold a little bit of fame. It's not like they went to Samuel Jackson's wife and talked about her, a lady, I don't really even know her name. I heard Denzel's wife name a little bit more, but I don't even know Samuel Jackson's wife name.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so, and I could see something if somebody says something about that, but she's a star in her own right. So you getting roasted just like everybody in here. So,
and I think,
but
I think it's
that's neither here nor there.
I think it's one of those things where you set the stage. The best way to protect your spouse is to not put them in a position where they have to be attacked or have to be abused out and about, right? So my thing is this, man. Like the standard of saying, hey, you ain't gonna talk about my old lady's health condition. You're not gonna do that. I get that. But the problem is all of the foolishness that happened before they even showed up to the Oscars. You open yourself up for that. And when you look at like if we have an open marriage, right?
Yeah.
If Chris cracking on your dome, this, that, and the third, where the other Negroes you laying up with? Where August and the rest of the boys at? Because I'm not about to jeopardize my situation when we ain't even together like that. Two.
Yeah.
The other part of it is I believe that was staged, to be honest with you. Because I kept looking at the video in slow-mo, and I promise you it looked like his hand was at least 7 inches away from his face. That's what it looked like to me. So when you look at that part, and then also you look at like the damage of they always pining for attention. Well, ain't nobody talking about Questlove and his accomplishment. Even Will Smith and his non-acting self, his accomplishment, getting an Oscar. And then Will Packer directing the Oscars. It's 3 different things that happened. That's way more important.
Sam Jackson got a Lifetime Achievement Award. I forget what the name of it is, but some type of Lifetime Achievement.
So if you got those 4 major things happening in our black community, and then it's all overshadowed between the dysfunction of Will and Jada. Because I promise you, if that was 50 Cent on that stage, he wouldn't have gone up there. If that was a Rock going, or even a white boy up there, he wouldn't have gone up there. So that means, to me, you have attention versus intentions. Now, if anybody say something crazy about your wife, that means I don't care who it is, you're going to give it to them. But if you got to back up and not give it to them because it's 50 or the Rock or the white boy, then that means you doing it for attention. Because Chris Rock an easy duck to knock down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just, man, I just think, where's cancel culture when you need them? I think those two should have been canceled a while ago, to be honest with you, man.
I just feel like, I think it was, if it was real, I'm going off to, a train of thought that it was real, that's what they want us to think, even if it was fake. Right. But anyway, so what I didn't like was he said the initial joke, which one, a lot of people didn't know she had alopecia. I feel like I'm in the know just as much as anybody. Right. Maybe not as anybody, but I know a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I didn't know she had it. Mm-hmm. And I thought she just wore hair short. Like, what's the girl, Amber Rose or something like? Because remember, Willow hair was short. Yeah. The mama hair was short. Right. Do all them have alopecia? She's a beautiful woman with a short haircut. Right. So you feel what I'm saying? It's not like she couldn't do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? It may be awkward for somebody else, but for her, it was like very powerful. Right. You know what I'm saying? She looking like, one of the Black Panther ladies. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was a powerful look. Right. So, she had on an army green dress. Right. So it was an easy joke to get off. Like, and then Will, your initial response was to laugh. Right. And then it looked like as the camera went back to Chris Rock, he realized Jada was upset. Then you realized it. Then you made a move. Right. So was it, oh, yeah, I mean, we don't know what's being said at home. You don't stand up for me. Right. When they saying this, you don't do this. You didn't check this lady, because he didn't even check the lady, Laverne Cox, the transgender lady. I whatever, it's a lady, but I'm using the right pronoun, hopefully. Right. But he, I was about to say she said, asked them on the red carpet at the other awards, Golden Globes or SAG or whatever it was, So we're not gonna have no entanglements this year. That's more disrespectful if we move past that. Like if me and my wife had a situation and we got back together, don't come back to me asking me a year later about like, oh yeah, y'all ain't finna mess up again and you ain't be out here cheating again. Like we moved past that. We don't want to keep talking about that.
Right.
So, but you didn't check her. You didn't even say nothing. Right. But this man deserved a slap for a little joke. And, they claimed, I saw the thing where he had made a joke before about her not being invited to the Oscars and supposedly Will Smith had said something to him. But, I mean, even if it was 2016, I'm not thinking I can't never crack a joke again in my life and I'm a comedian. Like, and again, he's a comedian.
Yeah, and this is my job. And the thing is, like, even with the whoever was on the red carpet with it, it's just like when you open your life up, it's one thing if that just comes out. But when you sitting here, we at this red talk table, whatever the show is, and we're sitting here spilling our guts out here for attention. Like you can't expect for people to hit pause just because you want them to hit pause when you putting your business out there. You put your business out there, that that's what you get. That's what comes with it. That's just what it is. So if you don't want your business out there, don't be such an attention whore. That's the answer. Don't be such an
or get away from the limelight. Yeah. I mean, that's just the honest truth. Like again, like I said, those award shows are basically roasts.
Right.
That's the whole theme of the show. Like, I mean, they making jokes about other actors and things like that. Usually in the opening monologue, and then you brought I don't think he was the host. I think he was just presenting Questlove. Mm-hmm. So, but he's still gonna come out there and do his thing. Yeah. Whether it was freestyled. I mean. Who knows? Somebody may have wrote it for him, but I think he kind of owned up to it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But it's will your reaction wouldn't be as bad if all the other stuff wasn't going on?
Right.
If your household was in order, and then like O'Keefe and I talked about offline. They've been passing around this letter Willow wrote to Tupac. Right. I guess it was a long time ago when she was a young lady. But what kind of conversations, Jada, were you having with Willow about? Your friendship that this lady felt good enough to come back and make me and my mommy happy, like who? I mean,
does
the girl, she kind of does a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but I don't, she ain't crazy, so it ain't like just some psychotic thing. And she writing a letter like that, like you guys must have had some conversations about how much you felt about this man and things like that, and that's still. On some levels, kind of disrespectful. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I miss my friend. That's all they need to know.
Once you get into, like, the level of disrespect that she displays towards him, it says one or two things. Either he's been such a piece of crap when the cameras are off, where she doesn't respect him at all, or she just ain't worth a damn. Those are only two things happening, because when a woman get that far out of pocket on you, that means that either you ain't worth a damn or she ain't worth a damn. Either which way, somebody got to make peace with going in the opposite direction, or somebody just going to be a whooping post. You know what I'm saying? Because it's only one of the two things happen. He ain't worth a damn or she ain't worth a damn. And
then, like you said, some parts of it could be staged, because I see now that they saying that they not gonna talk about it until they on Red Table Talk again, and all this, and that was the highest rated one, was the entanglement one, before the most watched one. So was this another play for attention? Was it also to give Will a good look? Y'all thought it'd be a good look for him to be, everybody said he was emasculated. Now he did something masculine. He quote unquote rescued the damsel in distress. You know what I'm saying?
Man, Captain Saber. If you knuckling up against Chris Rock, that had the opposite effect. It really did, because Chris Rock is like the least threatening dude in Hollywood that I can just come off the top of my head. Like if I had to fight anybody with one hand tied behind my back, it would probably be Chris Rock. I mean that's just the truth.
And I mean, he's got a history of being bullied. He talked about, I've been seeing the interview where I guess when he was in school, in high school, and in elementary school, high school, they was bullying him, doing all kind of stuff, to him.
So that's just man, them two there.
Yeah. That's just it's just definitely a crazy thing, man. But sound like everybody apologized, and hopefully they can move on. But we gonna see how it shake out.
Yeah.
We gonna definitely see how it shake out. This is another one. Anthony Anderson, wife filed for divorce for a second time. They had been together 22 years, but I think she did it back in 2015. But look like it's happy trails. You know what I'm saying, and what they got going on.
Yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, ain't no telling. Like, and this is just a lot of things that we say and that I say is off of personal experience. It's one of the things where in the entertainment industry, you know, like when you're struggling to get on and then your woman or your husband with you, you know, some people think they can outgrow that situation, you know, and then some husbands and wives don't want to be a part of that industry life. And everybody ain't built for that. Some people might be built for the front part of the supporting you in the struggle. But once you red carpet, once you lights flashing, once, you know, women throwing it at you or men throwing it at you who normally wouldn't, another spouse may not adjust well to that, and he might not even be adjusted well, because a lot of times we just see the finished product. And a lot of these cats, because I've come in contact with him and a few other cats, man, who personalities are really, really garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like at least in that moment of time. I don't want to say they're garbage people, but I always feel like regardless of whatever level you're on, there's a level of courtesy and respect you can have for other people. And a lot of times, man, these cats and kittens, they be so far out of pocket, man, and just being decent towards people around them. So ain't no telling.
Yeah. And I mean, it can, you know, I know his kids have got out to college and things like that, because I know his son was at Howard, he was at Howard and things like that. And, you know, sometimes it been like, you know, if she did it back in 2015, she probably been wanted to go, but it was like, let's hold on till these kids get grown and, you know, get on out of here. You know what I mean? And, you know, he started getting a certain level of fame, lost a little bit of weight, you know, because I've been following him for a long time. I remember when he used to be on they used to have a little Saved by the Bell show he used to be on back in the 90s. Man, what was that show? It was like a little basketball show. I forget, but it was on like NBC. I have to look at his IMDb to see what it was. But he used to be on a little show. He was a little chubby comedy act. You know, the funny man on the show. But he was like the Screech, but he was just chubby. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of funny. But you know, maybe that money started feeling good to him. He looking good, smelling good. You know what I'm saying?
Folks might start acting that other way. Yeah. And I'll say this before we move to the next one. Money just make you a bigger example of whoever you are for real. That's all money does. Money gives you an opportunity to be who you really are in real time in a much bigger way.
Yeah, who you really are, who you really wanted to be.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? As you was hiding for a little while, you got some money, now you done came on out your shell. You know what I'm saying? Took the wolf mask off. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or the lamb mask off to reveal you're a wolf. That's really what it is. But so this is another one. So Black China took to the internet and said that she had to give up 3 of her cars due to lack of child support. But then Rob Kardashian and the rapper Tiger, they both fired back saying they spending $30,000-$40,000 on their kids' schools. And, you know, they pay for the medical, and they have them, from what they said, like Monday through Saturday or, you know, Tuesday through Sunday. I mean, it was like 6 days out of the 7. You know what I mean?
Right. So when you look at that, it's just like Hohen has a shelf life. You know, Hohen has a shelf life. And it's one of them things, unfortunately, like the long-term play. If her plan was to not work, she should have sat down with Rob. Because he had simp tattooed all across his forehead. You know, so hey, don't be out here pretending like, oh, I'm a struggling. No. You just ain't in high demand. And now Hohen got a serious shelf life, man. It's just
and it sounds like both these guys are doing what they supposed to do. That don't mean you gonna live the exotic life. Tiger, he got his own thing. I think Rob got some little businesses on the side. Like I know, I think he was doing something at one time. I can't forget, like a clothing line or something. But anyway, you know, even if his sister's giving him money, she got 2 billionaire sisters, so he's right. He should be right anyway.
Right. He might be
family take
them.
care of family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Family got to stick together. That's what he's saying at the family reunion. Right. But you know, she probably thought that money was, you know, she was just gonna be showered with money. Yeah. And they didn't figure it out, like, hey, I want my child and I'm taking care. I'm not gonna be kicking down all that money. And you know, I hope she don't take it to court, because she's gonna be sorely embarrassed. You know what I mean? If you're not taking care of them kids, and you know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, we can't say that because sometimes the court, seems to lean towards the women, but we can't always say that. But what you doing with 3 cars? I mean, Black China, I really hadn't heard of in a while. Doing anything for the last few years since before the pandemic.
Right.
So it's a lot of people ain't got 3 cars. Right. Welcome to the real world.
Right. And
she said I had to give up 3 of my cars. Right. You had to give up 3 of them. Right. So how many you still got now? How many you sitting on?
And that's just come with the game. Don't be thinking. And child support is just that. Child support. It's not baby mama support so I can go to the club and look wealthy and this, that. That's not what child support is. And especially when you don't have the children. That's one thing. Like, we working to keep a roof over the child's head and this, that, and the third. And I'm paying child support to go towards when my child is laying their head. But if baby down the hall with me, I'm not sending you nothing.
And I mean, I'm sorry. It's times that I feel like if it's serious 50-50 joint custody where, it's a good even split. I won't say if, one person has a child all week and maybe you just get them on every other weekend. That's not the same thing. I'm talking about serious 50-50. There shouldn't be any support. I'm taking care of when they're at my house. You take care of when they're at their house. Like, of course, some things will overlap. One of us got a better health insurance. I'll get the insurance. One of us got better this. I'll get this. I'm doing the school shopping. You the winter shopping. You doing the summer shopping. You know what I'm saying? Something you should be able to work out and co-parent about. But I mean, I see a lot of people paying child support and they still having to care for the child just as much as the other person. They paying this money out.
I ain't doing it.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But hopefully they get it together. You know what I'm saying? She can get one of her cars back, one of the 3.
No, that thing gone. That's down at the auction somewhere. That thing gone.
Yeah. And this one was super crazy. So this one came to us. I had to get it up so I can read it to you guys. So brother said, my wife named our son after her first love, and I had no idea. He said, my son's about 5. About 2 days ago, we were out shopping and ran into a high school friend of hers. She was catching up when she told her friend that we had a son. When the old friend asked his name, my wife hesitated, and I told her. She had a strange look on her face, then said, you mean like your ex-boyfriend? Our son's name is very unique to the point that I've never met another person with the same name. Now she refused to talk to me about it. I feel betrayed and disgusted with her. It's like a switch was flipped in my mind and I just can't look at her the same.
Man, you shouldn't look at her the same. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even be looking at her from the same house. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's literally like somebody meets somebody and they like, oh, here go my son. His name Okiba.
Right. And then you like, you know what I'm saying? Okiba, who the dude you used to be with? The one you used to be with?
Yeah.
Oh, man, look.
One of your exes, they got a son. Somebody gonna look like, boy, I know you didn't. Like, I mean, like some stuff. Like I said, these are type situations. Men, we put women in them too, but women, this is the type of situation where people snap and go crazy. That's that level of disrespect. Like, you gonna have to say to me now. I don't know, were they maybe not together when the baby was being born, and then they decided to work it out or something like that. That would be the only reason if you thought we still. I still know it ain't no reason. It ain't no reason.
You can't name.
What am I talking about?
Because I was trying to see where you was going with this.
I was like, well, maybe they had broke up, and then they broke up, and she was still pregnant, and she decided to do it, but still, you would have been doing it out of spite. It still wasn't like what I mean. That's still not his child, so. You didn't name my son Junior after somebody else.
And we a household, and my son is my flesh and blood, named after your boyfriend from once upon a time. And then the only reason we found out is because your homegirl brought it to you'd have to sign them papers. And guess what, son? I don't care you 5 years. We change your name.
We change your
immediately.
Your name got to change.
Gonna change.
Yeah.
Period.
And now you got to be a junior.
Yeah. You're going to be named after me. We're going to make sure we swab that. Make sure everything. Yeah. Name you junior. And we got to sign these divorce papers because I can't be in the house with you. I can't, not without OJing you. And I don't condone violence at all.
No.
But you can't put a man in a position like that and think that he's just going to be some docile creature that's just going to take that kind of face slapping for the rest of his life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the rest of his life. He got to look at his own son at the barbecues, at the graduations, and scream out, "That's my boy, his son." You know what I'm saying? Like, man, don't put that man in a position like that, man. That's terrible, man.
No, man. That's a rough one, man. And I like you said, I couldn't even imagine. And now you don't even want to talk about it,
right?
Boy, we talking.
Like I don't want to talk about it.
Every light in this house gonna be on tonight.
Yeah. You don't want to talk about it.
You got to sleep with the light on, because I'm gonna be talking all night. We talking about it. You know, really, we may not be talking about it, because I'm getting my stuff going. You know what I'm saying? And taking my child with me, whose name is about to change.
Right. Because you're right. We ain't got to talk about it, because I'm taking mine and we signing the papers, and you can sit in this silent house by yourself, because we not about ain't nothing to talk about. From his standpoint, because you can't hear anything to make that level of disrespect be okay. There's nothing she can say.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, not at all. Not at all. And then, I mean, even if, let's say, it was a name you loved, it was some name that you were like, oh my God, that's an amazing name. Care. Yes, I dated a guy with this, but you would have needed to bring that up immediately. When you was pregnant, say, look, I love this name. I'm gonna tell you where I got it. It was somebody I knew. You know, it wasn't you. You better be saying something, because, and then just to even embarrass the embarrassment that man had to suffer when the friend said, like, the ex-boyfriend.
And he's sitting there looking like, what? What you just said? Man, I'm sorry. There's no reason you can name our child after your ex. I don't care what the reason. I don't care how much you love the name. It don't matter. We not doing it. I don't care what it is. Ain't no we ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like nah. No. And the fact that you would even bring that up in discussion means that I got to check you in a whole different way, because you think it's gonna be cool for you to even mention that you're gonna name my son after your ex-Negro that you was nah, pimp, we can't do that,
man. And luckily they didn't see the dude.
That's a different topic right there.
Oh, this my friend. Okay, well, that's my son now.
Right, like,
wait a minute.
What? And then you flip scrolling down the timeline, and you see O'Keefe and old girl sitting there booed up, and you're like, oh, no. Man, no.
Yeah.
That's rough.
That'll be rough. Man, so we thank you guys for tuning in with us. That's another episode in the books, man.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all check us out, man. Y'all know what the links are. Y'all know where we are. And we got some things coming. I know we've been talking about this merch, and but it's been a pandemic, and also our merch supplier and everything. So y'all gonna be able to get, you know what I'm saying, get down with the gang real soon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Get down with the gang. That'll be the movement. Get down with the gang. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the movement. You know, and so if you don't know our handles, you know, it's at RMPK Gang on IG. You know, www.rmpkk. I'm messing it up. We gonna go back. My mouth dry. Goddamn, all this water I've been drinking. I got this wet mouth. Really, not really dry, really wet, but okay. You guys know our links, but we gonna give it to you anyway. Follow us on Instagram at RNBK Gang. Follow us on the web, www.rnbkgang.com.
Hey, y'all know the links.
Y'all know the links. www.rnbkgang.com and the Rose and Brass Knuckles podcast on Facebook, man.
That's water you drinking,
man, y'all
over
don't know.
there?
I told y'all I'm on this workout, man, and I got to drink this water, man. I'm trying to put it down, man, on this program, and you know, got my mouth wet today.
You sure that's water? You sure?
Yeah. No. It's straight water, man. I ain't drinking nothing, man. It's straight water. So, you know, we appreciate it, though. You know, again, we real time, man.
That's how it go down, man.
Yeah, we real time with it. So, you know, as always, if the things we say made you feel some type of way, then that was a good word you need to hear today. It's the Rose and Brass Knuckles podcast. We'll see you next week.
Pass that collection plate, y'all. Come on now.
All right, now.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
That shit rough, man. That shit.
Man, I mean.
Shit, bro. Oh, man, that would have.